Mr. Nariman, I must start with you. What made you raise these questions of the Collegium? You list a number of questions along with Sriram and Justice Lokur. Do you believe the Collegium owes an answer? What are you hoping to place in the public domain as a matter of constitutional principle when you raise these questions about Justice Muralidhar not coming to the Supreme Court? Fali Nariman.
Yes, Barkha, thank you. The You see, I have always felt that somehow at some point of time there is injustice to individual judges of high courts. And if anybody reads my memoirs before memory fades, you will find that recorded in a chapter, which is chapter 16, which says the case that I won, but I thought I should have lost it. And that case is the case where 9 judges decided on the collegium system, which is now established as the system after the Constitution bench of the Supreme Court has struck down the National Judicial Commission as was proposed by the BJP government. Now, the point that I make is that ultimately this is a matter of individual assessment. But somehow in the case of Muralidhar, I felt compelled to say what I did, only because it is the thin end of the wedge, as it were, the thin end of the wedge. And when you say questions to be asked and answered, etc., I don't think the Supreme Court is bound to answer anything. They are entitled to say that, well, we've thought about the matter and we chose not to recommend him. Well, very well. Now, we can debate about it, but I don't think we are entitled to ask. Therefore, the title of this is a question for the Supreme Court. It's a question for debate amongst the people, right-thinking people, even wrong-thinking people, who wish to contribute something to the judicial till. So sorry, you wanted to ask me something.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. My question is, let me frame it like this. You say that there is injustice that has sometimes taken place against individual judges. Do you believe that the collegium has been unjust and unfair to Justice Muralidhar?
It is not only this collegium, it is the previous collegium that transferred him. That was equally bad. And there was no basis for him to be transferred out from the Delhi High Court to Punjab, although they happened to take his consent, etc., for that purpose. But actually, he was not willing to go. I don't know why he ultimately did go. So then he went to the as Chief Justice, and then apparently there's a grave error for another collegium, which also said that he should be transferred from the High Court of Orissa as Chief Justice to as Chief Justice of the Chartered High Court, the original one of the 3 original Chartered High Courts in the country, in the British India, namely the Madras High Court, a very prestigious High Court. So even that did not work out. And apart from not working out, the collegium then withdrew that and then appointed another person as Chief Justice. Now, for that, there is no explanation at all. And in the explanation, I mean, as an explanation in the public mind, we don't know why this was done. And that's why you see the collegium system, there's something basically wrong with it. And that's why I suggested a few months ago that we should restore the judicial commission, but not the one that was introduced by the BJP government, but the one which was recommended by a former Chief Justice Venkatachala, and was actually in the form of a bill which was introduced. And the only reason why the bill didn't go through was that elections were called. So the bill lapsed. So, as a matter of fact, you see, the judges of the Supreme Court are excellent in writing judgments and in deciding cases, but they are not so excellent when it comes to appointment of judges. That's the basic problem.
Can I interrupt you, because you are
Yeah.
making a very important point, which, as you said, you have referred to in your memoirs. But in the context of the present news cycle, the present debate, I must ask you directly: are you saying, Mr. Fali Nariman, that you believe that the Muralidhar case, the failure of Justice Muralidhar to be brought to the Supreme Court, is one more illustration in your mind that the collegium system as it exists is flawed and needs to be replaced with a different system? Is that what
Yes,
you're saying?
yes, absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Now, whether that system will be work or not work, I don't know. Because you see, basically what happens is, and that's why at bottom, I'm opposed to a major, or let me say, instead of saying opposed, I'm not happy with a majoritarian government. Whether it was the Congress government or the BJP government, they have behaved in exactly the same way, because everybody wants to control their own policies, their own appointments, etc., and support them. In the old days, for the first 10 years of the Supreme Court's functioning, there was no difficulty. When the Chief Justice was consulted, whatever he said was accepted. Then we came into Chief Justices who were suspect, or whether they were suspect or not. There was, and therefore it was suggested, and that is the famous second judge's case, which says that we should have consensus amongst not just one, the Chief Justice, but amongst three or amongst five. But somehow it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
And this is one great illustration of why it has not worked at all.